Well, our second guest for tonight is Derryn Hinch. He is tipped to win a seat in the Senate for his Justice Party at the federal election. We caught up with him earlier tonight. Now, Derryn, you've never voted before.
True.
How come?
I think compulsory voting is undemocratic, and I don't think it should be there. And I know I've got the donkey vote in Victoria, and I shouldn't be arguing against myself, but I don't like it. I've paid the fines, I've been to court, because we're the only Western country. Belgium, I'm told now, has it as well, but New Zealand doesn't, Canada doesn't, the United States doesn't, and the UK, on which we base the Westminster system of government, they don't have it either. So I don't think it's not democratic. You have a right to vote, you have a right not to vote. And if we didn't do it, if you had to go along and a politician had to convince you, right, to vote for me, then maybe they'll get off their asses a bit more and do it.
If you're not convincing, don't do it.
Maybe not.
You haven't convinced me, I will not vote.
All right.
Fair enough.
Well, I used to be the exact same way, and a lot of people were very angry with me and saying, Anthony, how can you just throw your vote away? And then someone like a Tony Abbott gets in, and then we hear all these stories about X amount of youth votes would have saved us, would have taken us a different direction.
Oh, it's fair, but why are we the only country? Why should we be treated like sheep? I mean, like kids. I mean, it's not there in other countries. I think it's wrong, and I think you have. Look, it's a precious thing to have the right to vote. People fight and die for it, but you must have a right not to. And I know that the AEC says that. Well, people say, "Oh, it's not compulsory; you just have to turn up." But if you go to the AEC, Electoral Commission's website, and it says voting is compulsory. That's it on their website. There you go.
Well, in 2013, you told people to write "stuff the lot of you" on the ballots.
I bet they will this time too. There's a lot of, this is the Shakespearean election. A pox on both your houses. I rarely see two things. I've rarely seen that sort of angst about both major parties, and I've never seen a politician. I don't think I've met every prime minister since Menzies, decades before you were born. And whether it be Abbott or Rudd or Gillard or even Fraser, I've never seen any leader lose his political cachet as fast as Malcolm Turnbull has. If he had had an election last November, he would have romped it, and Bill Shorten would have been mincemeat, instead of about to become possibly the Stephen Bradbury of politics.
Well, I think people were excited that he just wasn't Tony Abbott at the time.
Yeah. But they were excited. They thought he'd do something different. I mean, I've sat with Malcolm Turnbull 15 years ago, having wonderful, passionate discussions, because we agreed with each other 100%, so it was easy to have these dinner time discussions about how wonderful the Republic was. And now he's saying, "Oh, wait till the Queen dies, it's not an important issue." I mean, if we had the real Julia stood up near the end of that campaign, maybe the real Malcolm will stand up and say, "Yeah, I am in favour of same-sex marriage, the plebiscite's a waste of money, let's get it on, let's do it, etc., etc." But he hasn't. He made such a Faustian pact to get there with the right wing of his party that he's shackled. I mean, that's not the Malcolm Turnbull we know or you know, or people thought had got the job.
Well, one of your big policies is marriage equality.
Yes.
And so is that a way that for you to appeal to younger voters? Because a lot of young people
no, it's just right. I'm not young or old, it's right. I mean, I know every argument against same-sex marriage because I used to espouse it. And it wasn't until about 6 or 7 years ago I wrote an article for The Australian, and it was people like my ex-wife, Jackie Weaver, who convinced me about suddenly I realised, I would hear them coming out, my arguments were so stupid and not arguments at all. When you've got a situation where you know your argument is meaningless, then you better change your mind and you better come around. And
was it something she said in particular that made you change your mind?
No, it wasn't. It was just she said, "Why are you so opposed? What are you afraid of? Why are you opposed to it?" You know what I mean? And I thought, yeah, if people love each other and they want to get married, they can, whether you're male, female, two guys, two girls, whatever. So no, I know it was like, on the death penalty, I argued for 25 years. Against it, and now in circumstances I approve it. Not one of our policies because it can never be changed. It will never come back in, and it's both Labor and Liberal federal governments have made sure it can never happen. So I'm trying. We've got about 7 policies, and I'm trying to stick to the ones that we maybe have some influence over.
Well, on a very important issue now, I have to ask you about. You've had a recent falling out with the Melbourne Football Club that you used to support.
Well, I was a supporter of the Melbourne Football Club. Yeah, I actually launched the 31 and 81, bring back Barassi to Melbourne. I launched a thing called the Tridents, which was show business people supporting Melbourne. And this young singer made her first public appearance at one of my functions, and her name was Kylie Minogue. She sang.
How's she doing?
She's doing all right, apparently. Yeah, we've both kicked on.
She might have a real career, Kylie.
Yeah. But it's not just recently. About 10 years ago, they rebuilt the MCG. They spent $400 million rebuilding the MCG. And to do that, they had to tear down the Melbourne dressing rooms, our fantastic historic dressing rooms. And they had a party the night before to celebrate the end of this amazing era. At the last minute, they uninvited our vice president to the function because her name was Beverly O'Connor and she was female.
Oh.
This is about 2006, not 1906. And they said, you're female, you're not allowed. So it's an all-male do. And I went on radio next day on 3AW and said, any club that's that blinkered,
Really?
I don't want to be a part of, and walked out and I've never been back and wouldn't go back.
Good timing, because I think that was the last year they actually made the finals.
It probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got out a good time as well.
Bad
So I
time.
wasn't wasting my time, was I?
Good idea.
Yeah, right.
Well, and in 2013, I was going to ask, because 2013 you told people to write "Calm the Pies" on their ballots as well.
Gee, that shows I must have been satirical. I mean, who would ever say calm the pies? You might say go demons. Nobody would say calm the pies.
Well, if people wrote "Go Demons," maybe like Scott Morris and Peter Dutton would have been taking those votes.
Good point, good point.
If Collingwood had been elected, would you have felt a bit silly then?
Yeah, I guess I would have, yes. But everything would have been in black and white, and maybe that's what we need.
Oh, yeah.
Have more things in black and white.
Well, I wanted to ask you as well,
Yes.
because the last 10 years we've seen a gigantic shift in the way people are making journalism and the way people are eating their journalism up. Are we getting the journalism that we actually need right now?
Not enough.
Not enough?
Not enough, because you're getting investigative reporting, that sort of stuff. And you get occasionally on the ABC the live export stuff that they did. I think it's fantastic.
Oh,
but insight teams are expensive, and you're not going to get that. And too many, even papers like the Sydney Morning Herald and the Age, they go for this clickbait. I mean, you look at the stuff online that serious journalists would never ever think about.
It's flooded with.
And clickbait is the most awful stuff. So, funny about the live exports. Somebody the other day after the ABC had this latest thing about Vietnamese sledgehammering animals to death, and some smart ass went on Twitter and said, "Oh, typical Hinch, he's getting on the bandwagon. Labor's been on this issue of live exports since 2012." I did point out that in 1981, I took a petition of 30,000 names to Canberra to try and get the end to the live export of horses to Japan for meat and sheep to the Middle East after 10,000 sheep took 3 days to die in a ship fire off Fremantle. But suddenly I'm a Johnny-come-lately on the issue.
Oh, well, Derryn, thanks so much for joining us today.
No, I talk too much, don't I?
No, we can always edit this down.
Fine.
Oh, good.
Later
Yeah,
on.
yeah, that's good. All right.
Thanks so much, Derryn. We're going to go to a break now. We'll see you afterwards.
You forgot to do this bit, the vote one Hinch thing. You meant to do that.
Oh, of course. Vote
number
one.
one, yeah.
Number one.
Number one.
Next to Derryn Hinch.
Yes, sir.
Only number one.
I knew I liked you.
Yeah.
I've got a career now in this industry. Great. See you guys after the break.